In this video I want to show you how to create an encrypted container on any kind of storage space, so whether it's encrypted or not. And so my use case is I have an unencrypted drive and I want to move new files that I move to this drive into an encrypted space, if that makes sense, right? So, and kind of my situation is when I was younger, I bought an external hard drive and I didn't encrypt it because I wasn't that competent and knowledgeable about all this computer stuff. So I didn't encrypt it. I just moved my files there like you normally do. And yeah, so I guess you could call this kind of a sin of youth. In German, you would say a Jugendsünde, right? So, because you always want to encrypt your drives, like just encrypt them. Like this has nothing to do, of course, with like having stuff to hide or whatnot. It's just better practice to encrypt your drives. Always. Like simple as that. So I've already connected it and mounted it and whatnot. And if I lsblk, you see first up my normal drive, so the one on my computer, so my SSD. And I mean, everything's encrypted except boot, so swap's encrypted, root's encrypted, everything's fine. Everything's fine and well, everything's encrypted, and Seifu and whatnot. But right here we have this external hard drive. And as you see, it's 4 terabytes and there's no, like, I just have like one partition on it and I just mount that and yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's a pretty bad situation, like pretty bad, quote unquote. So, and I have a lot of stuff on this drive, so it's quite full and I don't have the storage space to move all the stuff somewhere else and then encrypt the drive and move it back. Like that's so much of a hassle. Like, and again, this is not like sensitive stuff I have on here. So yeah, but still I want to, now new files I want to move to this drive, well, new files that I move to this drive I want to have encrypted. So that's kind of a problem, right? Because I can't encrypt this drive. So again, encrypted container, this one I'm going to show you in this video. So I have already created a example directory, encrypted container example. Yeah, this is just an empty directory in which I'm going to put this container. And this container is just going to be a file, right? Because everything's a file, you know, and it's going to be a file. And we're gonna create an encrypted container and then create a file system inside that encrypted container and then mount that, right? So I have, if I switch to another workspace, I have all my notes written out here in this Emacs window. So first up, I'm gonna go through these instructions. Then I'm gonna also show you how to check your password and how to change it and whatnot, because that's something you might want to do. And yeah, I'm just gonna run all these. So first up, we have to allocate a file. So we run this command right here, and you can specify the size of this file. I'm just gonna give it like 1 gigabyte. So this is just an example, right? And I'm gonna name it encrypted volume.iso. And you can name this whatever. You can make it like however big you want, of course. So if I run this, you will see we have a new file, and this will be just a normal like file. I mean, there's nothing in it, right? So it just says data. But it has it should have the size 1 gigabyte, right? 1 gigabyte, because we specified this up here. So that's what we do first. So next up, we do a crypt setup looks format, and this will now actually format this container or this file as a encrypted, how do you say, encrypted container, I guess. So if I run this, it will tell us this will overwrite data on encrypted volume.iso irrevocably, and that's fine because there's nothing in it. And are you sure? Type yes in capital letters, so yes in capital letters. And then we'll prompt you for a password. I'm just gonna put in password, because we're gonna change this in a second anyways, because I want to also show you this. And just gonna take a second, yeah, to format this file as an encrypted thing, right? And it's done. And if I again call file on this, it will tell us it's in looks encrypted file, and it will tell you some stuff with UUID and whatnot, and kind of the more data about or more information on the looks format and stuff like that. All right. Next up, we want to, of course, we need to now open this container, and then we need to format it. So because if I lsblk again, you see, nothing has changed. So we now want to open this so that we can format it and then mount it, if that makes sense. So yeah, let's do just that. So we call crypt setup looks open, and you have to run this as root or as privileged user to be able to kind of, yeah, to be able to run this, so to open it. And I open it as so encrypted volume. You can name this whatever you want. It doesn't matter, right? So if I do this, it will prompt us for the password. So let me put in password, or for the passphrase rather. And if I now lsblk, we see we have this loop, so this virtual device, and it has one volume, enc volume, and this is like 1 gigabyte large, and it's a crypt. It's of type crypt. So yeah, pretty nice. And to now, we can't actually do anything with this because there's no file system on it. So we need to create a file system. This is what we use for this is mkfs.ext4. So I'm going to create an ext4 file system on this. You can create whatever file system you want to. You could also, for example, create a ZFS, I think it's called, file system on it. Yeah, again, anything you want to. Again, we have to run this as privileged user. And then we specify this def mapper enc volume. So in this def mapper are gonna be all your virtual drives, right? I guess, or at least all the ones you open with looks open. So if we're gonna do that, it will create an ext4 file system on it. So if we lsblk, nothing has changed, but we can now actually mount this. So we run do as mount. Let me create a directory actually for that. So I'm gonna create a directory mount point. Yeah, you can also mount this in like if you have multiple directories in your MNT, also in your mount directory, you can also mount it there. You can mount it wherever you want, right? So to now mount this, we just write do as mount def mapper enc volume, and then the mount point. So right here. And if we now ls the mount point, we see there's nothing in it except this lost and found directory. And this is like ext4 specific, right? So, and if we now lsblk, we see that our encrypted volume is actually mounted at this mount point. So yeah, pretty nice. Alright, so something you might also want to do sometimes, maybe not for a toy example like this, right? But for like real case usage is to check your password. Because if you have complex passwords, again, you might think, well, do I still remember that correctly? And you might want to check it before you unmount the file, like before you unmount the drive or container, I want to say, right? So yeah, this is what we use. Again, we can use crypt setup for that, and we just pass the test passphrase flag. And so I specify again def mapper enc volume, and then I have this end echo correct. So if this exits with like a what is it, exit value 0, I think is for if everything's fine, then this is gonna output correct. And I mean, we could do like this, I guess, incorrect. So if I yeah, no, so this is let's see. Oh yeah, access denied. So I think we need to also run this as root. No. Oh, okay. So we need to run it on the file itself. So not on the mapper thing, right? So let me clear that. So we need to run it on encrypted volume.iso. So in my notes, I only have it for a actual hard drive, right? So let's do this. And if we now enter something wrong, it's gonna take a bit because it checks the passphrase, right? And I think it's gonna prompt us 3 times. And so yeah, so no key available for this passphrase, and then it says incorrect. But if we enter the correct password, which is password in this case, it will put out correct, and everything's fine and well, right? So this way you can ensure that you know your passphrases or your passphrase. All right, so let's say we want to like add a new passphrase. We need to run crypt setup looks add key, and then we also need to again specify our encrypted volume, because this is again, this is just for containers which you have on disk. If you have like actual hard drives, you need to specify this dev SD whatever, or in this case NVMe whatever, like your actual like the reference to the disk in the dev directory, if that makes sense. So we want to add something. Let's just add a passphrase instead of password. No, we need to enter existing passphrase. Yeah, if you can read, you always have an advantage. So first you need to actually enter the passphrase which is already there, and then you can add a new passphrase. So now we add passphrase like this. So, and we need to verify it. So yeah, this is gonna take a second. And then we can run this test passphrase again. So let's do this again, and I will now enter passphrase instead of password. Passphrase. And this is now correct. And if I enter password, it will also put out correct, because we now have 2 passphrases for this container. But now we want to remove the passphrase, because that's kind of insecure, right? So, and passphrase is much more secure, I guess. So enter passphrase to delete, and if we now enter password, it will delete it. And if I run this previous command again with password, this will now not give us anything, because yeah, no key available with this passphrase. But if we enter passphrase, it will all work fine. So this is how you can kind of swap out your passphrases for your drives, if you have the need for this. So I don't know if you can actually remove the last passphrase. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna try that out. I guess for this example it doesn't matter, right? But whatever. Why would you want to? So again, we have this drive now in, so this encrypted volume container mounted in mount point, and we can now move files to this, just like we would normally. So yeah, so if we now, for example, hello.txt or whatever, and we now write hello there or something. Oh, permission denied. Yeah, of course you kind of need to also think about like permissions and stuff like that. This is just like with a normal drive. So yeah, let's as you can see, I have not prepared this demonstration very well. So let's, for example, do this, and now I can actually write to it, hello there, like this, and mount point. So there's now this file hello.txt, and I can cut it out, and yeah. And if I now unmount this mount point thing, yeah, super user. So, and looks close. Oh yeah, I should probably have this in here as well. So we also want to maybe unmount and close our container, because right now it's still open. So we can still like just mount it as we have before. So we can just mount it again and all this kind of stuff. Do as, yeah, mount would also be nice. And it's there again, and then we can unmount it. Yeah, so it's still open. We don't need to enter our passphrase. But if we now crypt setup looks close, and then we need to enter the anchor volume, I think. Yeah, like this, and now it's gone. So it's closed again. So we now can't mount it. We have no reference to it anymore, and we need to enter our passphrase again to open it again. So yeah, that's pretty much all there's to it. But if we now, for example, if we let me think. So if we grab hello in the encrypted volume, we're not going to find anything, even though there is a file in there which is called hello.txt and which has as its content also hello or hello there, right? So we're not going to find anything because it's encrypted. Yeah, so that's how it works. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to show you. Let's cancel that. And yeah, I think this is very useful, especially if you have a use case like mine, where you have an unencrypted drive and you want to, but you want to encrypt new files, and you don't want to encrypt each of them individually, of course, but you want to have them in an encrypted container. Or also this could also be used with, even if you have like an encrypted setup, like I have on this laptop right here, you might still want to have an encrypted container for like certain files. So that even if your computer is running and in that sense decrypted, or if you're, I mean, as is mine right now, so I can now look at my files unencrypted, of course, even though the disk is encrypted. So even if that's the case, you are not, or someone who gets access to your computer is not able to look at files within an encrypted container on this encrypted drive. I hope that makes sense. But I guess, I think you know what I mean. So there are lots of use cases for this, of course. And yeah, that's all I wanted to show in this video, because I had this problem with my drive. So yeah, I thought I might as well show you. All right. So that's it. Have a nice day.